The summer rebuild at Rangers is heating up fast, and things are beginning to take real shape at Ibrox. With 5 fresh faces already signed and sealed, Russell Martin's vision for the new season is no longer just an idea. It's unfolding in front of our eyes. And now it looks like another key addition is about to be announced. According to multiple reports, Rangers have reached an agreement for what would be their 6th signing of this window, and a deal could be unveiled any day. Now, this move isn't just about adding depth. It's another clear signal that Martin is building a squad capable of challenging seriously on all fronts. Since stepping into the role, Martin hasn't wasted a second. He came in knowing exactly the kind of team he wanted to shape, and he's been relentless in his pursuit of it. Unlike some managers who take their time to assess and observe, Martin has hit the ground running, targeting familiar players who already understand his style of play and bringing in quality that fits his system. What's become obvious is that this isn't a rebuild for the sake of numbers. Every signing has a purpose, a role, a fit. 2 of the arrivals so far, Joe Rothwell and Max Aarons, are players who've worked under Martin before. Rothwell was with him at Southampton, while Aarons played under him at Norwich. Their familiarity with the manager's demands and tactical setup gives them a huge advantage, and it shows that Martin values not only talent, but trust and tactical intelligence. But the newest development has brought a familiar name back into the headlines. Samuel Edozi. The winger was previously linked with a move to Rangers last summer when Martin was still in charge at Southampton. Talks had progressed well, and a loan deal was all but done until it collapsed right at the final stage. At the time, Martin didn't hide his frustration with how things fell apart. He made it clear the breakdown wasn't from the Southampton side and expressed sympathy for Edozi, saying the way things fell through late in the day wasn't fair to the player. Despite that setback, the connection between manager and player clearly remained strong, and nearly a year later the move could be back on. Reports from the UK and Belgium are heating up again. BBC sources suggest that Rangers have already made a fresh offer to Southampton for Edozi, although it's been turned down initially. That hasn't stopped talks from continuing, and other clubs have entered the race as well. Club Brugge, who Rangers just faced in a friendly, are also reportedly eyeing a permanent move for the young winger. It's now a matter of who can strike the right deal, and fast. Edozi's journey so far has been nothing short of eventful. After coming through Millwall's academy and later joining Manchester City, he made his debut for the Premier League Giants in the 2021 Community Shield before sealing a $10 million move to Southampton in September 2022. In his first season with the Saints, he made 17 Premier League appearances, showing glimpses of his potential. When the club dropped down to the Championship, he got even more game time under Russell Martin, scoring 6 times in 32 matches. Despite being sent out on loan to Anderlecht after the Rangers' move collapsed, Edozi showed enough in Belgium's top flight to keep clubs interested in his services. He played 23 times there last season, gaining experience and continuing his development. For Rangers, the wide areas have been a weak point in the squad, and it's clear that strengthening those flanks is a priority this summer. That's where the latest twist comes in. Alongside the renewed chase for Edozi, Rangers are on the brink of completing a deal for another exciting winger, J.D. Gassama from Sheffield Wednesday. This could very well be the 6th signing Russell Martin was referring to, and it's a big one. Gassama has agreed to a 4-year deal to join Rangers, and this move has been brewing for weeks. RFC sources indicate that the deal is done pending the final paperwork and formalities. The French under-20 internationalist came through the youth ranks at Paris Saint-Germain before making a switch to Sheffield Wednesday. In the last season, he notched 8 goals in 47 appearances, mostly operating from the left side of the attack. But he's not a one-dimensional player. He's capable of playing across the forward line, giving Martin flexibility and variety in the final third. With his speed, directness, and eye for goal, Gassama is exactly the kind of player that can unlock defenses, especially in tight games where a moment of individual brilliance can make all the difference. It's another clever addition, and the timing couldn't be better as Rangers prepare for European qualifiers and domestic battles ahead. This also comes as Martin continues to mold the squad during a training camp at St. George's Park. The players are being pushed hard in a bounce. Game is scheduled during this trip to test new combinations and ideas on the pitch. On Sunday, we got a glimpse of what Martin is trying to implement as Rangers came back from 2 goals down to earn a draw against Club Brugge. It wasn't just the result that caught the eye, it was the intent, the pressing, the transitions. You could already see flashes of Martin's influence, even if this is just the beginning. After the match, the gaffer spoke openly about how much more could still happen before the transfer window closes. He hinted that more incomings are likely, but also acknowledged that some players will have to leave. The squad is beginning to swell in numbers, and balancing minutes across a large group isn't sustainable in the long run. His exact words were telling, "I expect the team to look different again, the squad to look different in a week's time." So much can happen in football in a couple of weeks, so I don't know. But I think we definitely want to do more for sure. And also some players probably need to move on as well at some point. That honest assessment is a breath of fresh air. Rather than sugarcoat the situation or dodge tough decisions, Martin is being clear with his players and fans about the evolving nature of the group. And one of the names who might be heading for the exit is Clinton Enciala. The young centre-back was left out of the matchday squad against Club Brugge, and Martin didn't shy away from explaining why. With Emmanuel Fernandez now on board, competition at the back has increased significantly. Martin said that Clinton is at a stage in his career where he needs regular football, not just sporadic appearances or bench time. He's trained well, but Martin believes the best thing for his development is to go somewhere he'll play week in, week out. It was a mature and respectful message, and one that shows the manager values honesty above all. On the injury front, there's also news regarding Rabbi Matondo. The Welsh winger's return to preseason has been delayed due to a minor knee procedure he underwent during the offseason. Matondo, who joined Rangers in the summer of 2022, has had a difficult time staying fit. Last season, he spent the second half on loan at Hanover in the German second division, where he scored on his debut but struggled for consistent game time due to ongoing injury issues. This latest setback adds to a frustrating period for the winger, who has only 1 year left on his 4-year deal at Ibrox. Matondo's situation remains uncertain. With his contract running down and the squad evolving rapidly, the coming months will be crucial. If he can return to full fitness and find consistency, there might still be a future for him in Martin's plans. But given the new arrivals and the club's focus on wide players who can stay fit and contribute regularly, the pressure is on. Meanwhile, some young names are making the most of their chances. Oscar Cortez and Finlay Curtis both impressed in the draw, with Club Brugge showing flashes of quality and earning praise for their performances, with Martin clearly favoring a system that uses natural wingers who hug the touchline and stretch. These youngsters could have a real opportunity if they keep progressing. So the message from Ibrox is crystal clear. This summer is all about building a team that reflects Russell Martin's identity. High energy, tactical discipline, and depth in every position. And we're only halfway through the window. With more signings expected and a few exits inevitable, this squad will continue to take shape in the coming weeks. But as the squad evolves, the pressure builds. Not just for those arriving, but for the ones already here. The reality is not everyone will make the cut in Madden's revamped system. The pace, intensity, and tactical demands he's implementing mean players must either adapt quickly or risk being left behind. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Competition breeds excellence. And if Rangers are serious about competing in the Champions League and going toe-to-toe with Celtic in every domestic front, they'll need a group that's sharp, cohesive, and ready to perform from the first whistle to the last. Let's talk about the shape of this current rebuild and what it tells us about Martin's strategy. This isn't just about plugging holes. It's a calculated reshaping. The spine of the team is being reinforced. In defense, Max Aarons adds experience and a brilliant engine. On the right, a player who can bomb forward but also drop deep and defend with discipline. Emmanuel Fernandez is another young talent with big potential, giving options at centre-back and a new dimension to build. From the back, in midfield, Joe Rothwell brings energy and versatility. He's a player Martin trusts, and that matters. Rothwell knows how to shift between lines, how to press intelligently, and how to recycle possession quickly. Key attributes for a team that wants to dominate the ball but also hit hard on transitions. Then there's the pre-contract move for Lyle. Cameron, a smart piece of business. He's a player who's been lighting it up at domestic level and looks ready for a bigger stage. You combine that with what Gassama and potentially Edozi bring in attack, and you can see a blueprint emerging, one that's fast, technical, and aggressive. There's something else important happening too. Martin is building not just for this season, but for the next few years. The average age of the players coming in is low. These aren't just short-term stopgaps. They're talents with room to grow, with resale value, and with hunger to prove themselves. That's a huge shift in strategy from previous seasons, where sometimes Rangers went for experience over energy, or reputation over potential. Now the focus is different, and it's exciting. But for this rebuild to work, the players already in the squad need to buy in. The culture Martin is creating demands total commitment. Every session at St. George's, Park is being used to drive home those standards. There's no room for passengers. Even the bounce game plan during the training camp has a purpose. It's not just fitness. It's about decisions under pressure, building chemistry, and seeing who's ready to step up. Every drill, every moment is being used to sharpen this group mentally and physically for what's ahead. Now, let's not sugarcoat things. There's still a lot of work to do. Rangers are far from the finished article. There are gaps to fill, especially in the wide areas and potentially up front. There's been talk about looking at experienced strikers, including rumors swirling about a move for Jamie Vardy. Whether or not that happens, the message is clear. Rangers are exploring all avenues to give Martin a team that can hit the ground running. With Champions League qualifiers looming and the domestic campaign around the corner, every day counts. And it's not just about the incomings. As Martin said himself, some players will need to move on. That part of the window's never easy, but it's necessary. A bloated squad doesn't help anyone. It creates frustration in settled dressing rooms and makes training less effective. Players like Clinton Insiala, who've shown professionalism and effort, may find better opportunities elsewhere, where they can play consistently. Martin's handling of that situation was honest and respectful, and that sets the tone for how he wants to run the club. Transparency, clear expectations, and a focus on growth. The injury to Matondo complicates things slightly, with his contract running down and his time at Ibrox plagued by setbacks. It's hard to know what his role will be moving forward. If he can get back to full fitness, he still offers pace and unpredictability, but the competition is fierce. The additions of players like Gassama and potentially Edozi mean minutes will be hard to come by unless he makes a big impact quickly. That's just the nature of elite football. You've got to be ready when your name is called. And as we saw in the match against Club Brugge, the margin for error is slim, even in a friendly Martin 1 standards. The team showed resilience to come back from 2 goals down, and that fight will serve them well. But it also exposed areas that need tightening, especially in the transitions and defensive organization early in the game. Still, there were positives. Oscar Cortez looked sharp and dynamic. Finley Curtis showed bravery on the ball. These are the kind of performances that catch a manager's eye. Looking at the bigger picture, what we're witnessing is more than just a transfer window. It's the laying of foundations. Russell Martin has a clear footballing identity, and he's bringing in players who match that identity. He's not trying to copy-paste formulas or rely solely on what's worked before. This is a new chapter for Rangers, and the early signs suggest it could be a compelling one. The squad is becoming younger, quicker, and more technical. The training methods are intense and tailored. The communication is transparent. And perhaps most importantly, the ambition is back. You can sense it. There's a different energy around the club. It's not hype for the sake of it. It's a feeling that something is building. The fans can feel it too. After seasons of frustration, stop-start momentum, and inconsistency, there's finally a sense that the pieces are coming together. But that doesn't mean everything will click overnight. There will be setbacks, tough results, and bumps in the road. What matters is how the team responds, and that's where leadership comes in. Martin's approach so far has shown he's not afraid to make big decisions. He's not afraid to challenge the squad, and he's not here to settle for second place. As the training camp continues, eyes will be on the next steps. Whether that's finalizing a deal for Gassama, reigniting the move for Edozi, or making room for new arrivals by trimming the squad. Every choice now has a ripple effect, and the window still has plenty of time left. Between now and the end of August, we could see a very different Rangers emerge. One that's not just deeper in terms of options, but stronger, mentally clear in their identity, and more ruthless when it matters. So for the supporters watching closely, this is a time to stay tuned. because the next few weeks could define not just the start of the season, but the club's trajectory for years to come. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers are gathering pace around Ibrox this week as former Rangers midfielder Isam CHERAI finds himself at the center of a fresh controversy following his sudden and unexpected departure from the Glasgow side. The Moroccan-born player, who arrived with much fanfare just over a year ago, has left behind more questions than answers, and a parting shot that's ruffled more than a few feathers across the city. CHERAI's brief stint in blue was marked by inconsistency, occasional flashes of brilliance, and increasing frustration on and off the pitch. But few expected the 25-year-old to sever ties so abruptly, let alone with the stinging words reportedly uttered to a French sports outlet. Never should have come. That single line has lit the fuse under a growing storm of speculation. Was it a personal clash behind the scenes, a falling out with coaching staff, or simply a case of a player unable to settle under the weight of expectation in Glasgow's high-pressure footballing goldfish bowl? Sources close to the club suggest that CHERAI struggled with the intensity of the Scottish game, and his relationship with key figures at Auchenhow was far from smooth. But the timing of his comments, coming just days after sealing a move to a lower-profile European club, has left fans and pundits alike wondering what really went on behind closed doors. It's understood CHERAI had been eyeing a move away for some time, but his blunt assessment of his time at Rangers has raised eyebrows. For a club steeped in history and pride, such remarks do not sit lightly, and it's believed internal discussions are underway to address the fallout, particularly with young players who looked up to CHERAI as a role model. Still, some believe this could be a case of sour grapes. One insider claimed the midfielder never truly committed to the club's culture and was often distant in training sessions. Others, however, point to poor man management and a lack of clear tactical direction as reasons why CHERAI never hit the heights many expected. For now, the truth remains elusive. But as the rumor mill spins into overdrive, one thing is certain. CHERAI's brief chapter at Rangers will be remembered not for goals or glory, but for the echo of a parting phrase that's bound to linger. Never should have come. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.